Good evening. Are you in? So before we continue, we have to put some orders so that we can continue with our class. First, if I ask a question, raise your hand first. Then you unmute yourself if I call your name. Let us be orderly. And secondly, I'd like to know those who are in class. Ivan, okay, welcome. Do you have Timothy? Okay, welcome. Teresa, Beren, are you in? Okay, Faith Rono. Faith Rono. Okay, welcome all. Let us now mute to start our lesson of today. Those who are not unmuted, please unmute yourself. You can so that you can start. Or mute yourself. Sorry, mute yourself. So the last lesson we were still on the livestock routine duties. That is under the animal handling and management practice one. And we discussed about vaccination. So please, Dominic, mute yourself. Thank you. Let us now review what we learned on our last lesson, which was about vaccination. Who can remind us what vaccination is? Yes. You you can't remember what vaccination and we discussed about it last on our last lesson. Who can remind us what vaccination is? Okay, sorry. What is vaccination? What is vaccination, class? No one who can remember what is vaccination? So, I'm going to remind you. So, vaccination, we say it is giving vaccine to your animals so that you can train their immune system to create antibodies so that in future they will not be exposed to diseases. And we said there are some types of vaccines and they were mainly four. I will not name them, you go and revise. So you start our lesson today and you're going to discuss on identification of animals. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to you define the term identification of animal. You should be able to state the importance of animal identification. You should be able to identify the different types and tools used in identification of animals and the main methods of animal identification. So, class, if I call your name, example, if I call Ivan, yes. What have I done to you if I call you your name? No, I'm asking, if I call you by your name, what have I done to you? Yes. Yes, correct. Thank you. That is now what we are going to look at in the identification. Because a name, for us, a name identifies who we are. Is it true? So, what is identification? What is identification? And if you want to answer the question, please lift your hand. Yes, Elliot. Yes, Beren, answer. Pardon? Pardon, please. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Please let's appreciate him. I can't see people appreciating Beren for the good trial. Yes, thank you. So we are going to now look at what is identification. And identification is the practice of giving animals unique identifiers for ease of identity. And this, by giving the animals unique identities, it, it helps the management practices and some of the management practices that are facilitated by identification. Some of them are feeding, and in feeding, if you know maybe you have some herds of cattle. So if you have different types of you have given the cattle their identities. It will help you in feeding them because you know which title has fed and which one has not. It also helps in selection and breeding. You'll know which breeds are best and which one you should select during breeding. We have also management practice of record keeping. You're able to keep good records in all the animals, and also culling which involves removing of unwanted breed from your herd. So by us having looked at what is identification, I'd like us to move on to another task, which is importance of identification. And I would like us to first, because we already know what is identification of animals. So I would like us to discuss, and you should lift up your hand if you know. We discuss on the importance of identification of animals. Please lift your hand if you want to try. Yes, Beren, please. Yes. Yes, thank you. Unmute yourself or mute yourself. Any other person with the trial? We have proof of ownership, as Beren has told us. Another trial, please. Yes, Kirui earlier. Yes, thank you. We also have, by identifying, you'll be able to breed animals well. Another trial. Yes, Timothy. Yes, you have animal welfare. You'll be able to. Thank you. Yes, you have animal welfare. By that, you are able to be able to know which animals have problems and which one don't have. Yes, now we can continue. You can see we are together in my class. So some of the notes I have, we have ownership proof. And by saying ownership proof, I know all of us know what we mean by that. You can be able to identify your animal by giving it a name or something that will prove that it's yours. By also having identity of your animal, you can be able to keep accurate records of all the animals you have. We have also disease eradication. By disease eradication, we mean that you can be able to remove animals that have signs of diseases by identifying them. We have food safety. That is when your animal is sick and you have identified it, you cannot sell it to people maybe for meat, or maybe if it's sick, maybe like mastitis, you cannot sell that milk from that cow or from an animal to people that by identifying an animal, you'll be able to have food safety. We also have breeding, as we were told earlier by Elliot, and breeding involves by saying it helps in breeding. It means that by identifying an animal, you'll be able to get good breeds because you'll be able to know the traits that are needed for breeding. And by giving an animal a name, it helps in that process of breeding. So we also have it helps in global trade. You'll be able to know the type of animal you're taking by maybe when trading by looking at their identity. We have emergency management. Yes, emergency management. Maybe you have a gradual change in the management of the of your farm. By emergency management, it means when you have a new person who is managing your animal because of maybe a change, a gradual change, you'll be able to the person who is managing now who has come will be able to identify the animal by the signs and the type of identity you have given your animal. Then you have endangered species tracking. It helps you know the species that you have in your farm and to help you know which species need to be branded more so that we you can help in bringing up more of these species. Are we together? Yes, so let us continue. We have two methods that we use in animal identification. So I'm going to give you 3 seconds and I'm going to pass through my slides. Then I see if you will be able to catch anything. Then you'll come and discuss that later. So that's what I'm doing now. Are you ready? Yes, you either identify a type, a method, or a tool used in either of them. So I'm starting. Yes. Now, have you seen anything? Have you seen anything? Are we together? Oh my goodness. Sijui. Kainunua ndivyo. Una nini ninunue? Hmm. Ninataka kujihesabu.
Madam, you are muted.
Nimeisha vizuri.
Hello.
Nimeleft. Na bado naendelea kujirekodi.
Sasa utaanza tena.
Serious. Hmm?
Eh,
Internet nini?
Inarekodi lakini
Hmm.
itanipata.
Hmm?
Itanipata.
Hapo kwa nini video? So inabidi tuanze upya. So unaanza upya. So welcome back. Sorry for the interruption. It was a network error. So, had you seen what I had shown before I went out? So, I had told you to identify either a method, a type, or a tool. So we start. Those who have seen anything, let us discuss, please. And please raise your hand. I can say I have only Beren in my class. Where are the others? Okay. So Beren starts with what you have seen, either a method, a type, or a tool. Yes, 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 yes. Let us appreciate him for that observation. Yes, thank you. Please mute yourself. And I can see, Eliud, you have raised your hand. Please answer either on method, tool, or type. Yes? Yes, yeah, no chat. Thank you. Who else? Who else is in my class and who has good observation skills? Oh, appreciate Eliud, please. He has tried. Any other person who is in my class who has good observation skills? Yes, Dominic. In human beings, the ear tag. It is not in human being, but we are talking about animals, and we are human beings are part of animals. So we are not very far. Thank you for that answer. Let us appreciate him for a good observation. Yes. Now we can continue. We have the methods. There are two types of methods that we look at. There is permanent and temporary or non-permanent. As you continue with the types, you'll be able to know if it is a permanent or temporary type. So we start with the first one, which is ear tagging. And as one of you had said, you had observed ear tagging as a type. Please, Dominic, mute yourself. So we have ear tagging. And in ear tagging, it means fixing metallic or plastic tags bearing different numbers or letters on the ears of animals. As you can see in those pictures that I've displayed there, we have an animal with an ear tag, and the three pictures there are some examples of ear tags, and you can see they are named according to numbers, and the tool there is a tag applicator. As you can see, it can help in fixing that metallic or the plastic tag. So we go to the next one, and I have a question for you, and you'll answer me maybe in our next lesson. Is an ear tag a permanent or temporary method? Let us continue to a second, which is ear notching. And ear notching involves making cuts in different parts of the ear of an animal, and the position of each cut is assigned a specific number, which by adding the numbers helps you get the number of the animal. And as you can see, the pig there, I've shown you how to read the ear notches. Then at the bottom, we have an ear notcher, which is a tool used in ear notching method. And I'll also pose a question there. You'll answer in our next lesson. Is ear notching a permanent or temporary method used for animal identification? We continue to the third one. We have ear tattooing. Ear tattooing, someone has identified that, and it involves making outlines of certain numbers by piercing the skin using a tattooing machine. The tattooing machine is the one that you can see down there. We have a tattooing ink, which is black in color. You can have different colors of the ink that you need. So in our case, I have kept for you there a tattooing machine and a black ink for tattooing purposes. And after piercing the skin, it's when you use the ink so that the piercing can be visible, and it is suitable for animals like rabbits and pigs. So the fourth one, we are going to look at branding. Branding involves inscribing a permanent mark on the skin of an animal using a red hot branding iron. As you can see there, that is a red hot branding iron. Then you have an animal that is being shown on how you use the branding iron. Then you have an example of how it looks like after you have branded the animal. So this type of identification is suitable on the side on sides such as the hock, the side of the jaw, the hip, and the thigh. We look at the next type of identification, which is neck strapping, and it is our last thing that you're going to look at. We have neck strapping, which involves fixing of tags around the animal's neck with a chain or a strap. The first one has a strap. The second animal cattle there has a chain, and you can see they have different numbers for identification. So before I wind up, we are going to do a recap of what we have done today. And please, those who have unmuted, please mute yourselves before we recap. If you have an answer to my question, you lift your hands. So we are going to start on what we started. So what is identification of animals? If you got the answer, please lift your hand, raise your hand. Beren, what is identification of animals? Yes. Yes, thank you. I see you are very keen in my class. Clap for him. The rest of you should clap for him. Yes, thank you for that. We go to the next question of what we have learned. We discussed on the importance of animal identification. Please state for me the what you have learned on the importance of animal identification. And if you got the answer, please lift your hand. On the importance, state the importance of animal identification, please. Yes, Timothy. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Dominic, I can see you had raised your hand. Dominic. Okay, Beren. Yes. Yes. Yes, thank you. Clap for them. They have tried on the importance. I can see I was not alone in the class. And now we are going to look at the two methods of animal identification. We said there are two main methods. There are two methods of animal identification. Please, Dominic, answer that. Dominic. Dominic. Answer the question. Yes, the two types of animal identification. Yes. Yes, thank you. Clap for him. And please mute yourself, Beren and Dominic. So we continue to our last thing that we have learned today. We said I have discussed on 5 types of identification of animals. And please, I'd like us as we end up our class, each and every person should name one. We start with Eliud. Please state one type of animal identification. Yes, thank you. So we continue to our second one. Beren? Yes. Thank you. The next one, but we have not discussed on the microchip. That was another thing I was supposed to tell you. We have not discussed on all the types. Some of them will go and continue. These are the first 5 main types. So we have Timothy, another one that I have discussed today. Yes, ear tagging. Thank you. Yes, thank you, thank you. Dominic, another method. Yes, ear tagging. It has been said, and thank you. Can see we are, yes. Branding, yes, thank you. I can see we were all active in class, and now I'd like us to end our class. But before we end, let me give you an assignment that I'll collect in our physical classes. Are you ready? Are you going to type to write somewhere? Yes. Let me give you the assignment now. Write somewhere so that I'll collect next time we meet. And the assignment is, okay, go and look at we have discussed on 5 types, so look at the other types that we have not looked at, and I'm going to collect that. Look at other 5 types of animal identification. I'm going to collect that assignment on our next lesson, and thank you for attending. Have a nice evening. 10 marks, please. 10 marks. I am. Good night.
Okay. Okay.